decided to crawl back into his messy bed. Go ahead. Messy. Yeah. What kind of bed, guys? Okay. She studied in the library. This one's tricky. Kinsley? Letters? No. Where did she study? In the library. Yeah, in the library. That one's more tricky. So the modifiers are strong, messy, and in the library. Yeah. How I remember modifiers is descriptive words. You good? Yes. Beautiful. Good job, guys. So what are misplaced modifiers? Misplaced modifiers. A misplaced modifier is a word, phrase, or clause that is too far away from the word and modifies or describes. In other words, you gotta move the misplaced modifier closer to the modifier.
I like to move it. I like to move it.
Yeah.
I like to move it. I like to
move it. So for misplaced modifiers, you gotta move it. Miss Burgess is gonna have so much fun with this song today.
Everything got King Julia, but it's James Bond. I love it.
You gotta move it, guys. Come on.
Everybody have it?
Yeah. You guys better not forget this, or else we'll play move it 25 times, right? Yeah. Okay, ready to move on, guys? Let's look at an example. Loaded with cheese, Tina devoured 5 slices of pizza. Who was loaded with cheese? Tina. Yeah, it should be pizza, but it sounds like Tina. So, which, by the way, I have been loaded with cheese before. I had cheese dumped on my head. It was interesting. But most likely it's talking about the 5 slices of pizza. So how do we modify this? What do we move? Tina? All right. So how would you say that then?
Tina devoured 5 pieces of pizza that were loaded with cheese.
Yeah, so you don't add anything, because if you add something, it's dingled. You just move loaded with cheese. So Tina devoured 5 slices of pizza loaded with cheese. So on your guided notes, it says, in this example, loaded with cheese, and then you guys write down. Correctly, the sentence often sounds silly and can be confusing to the reader. For example, covered in butter. Who can I pick on? Oh, okay, covered in butter, colon, 8 biscuits. What's covered in butter in that sentence? That sounds silly. I meant to move colon 8 biscuits covered in butter. I didn't add anything. All I did was move the words to make it make sense, which means it was a misplaced modifier. All right, ready to move on? Beautiful. Key points. This is in your notes. Modifiers should be placed as close to the word or phrase they are modifying as possible. Most of the time, they come before the word they are modifying. A modifier can be removed from a sentence without affecting the overall meaning and grammar. love misplaced modifiers for several reasons. The main one being that it is so much fun to do. Once you get it, you get it. We have several funny examples. Like, for example, I wrote them down, Miss Burgess, because they were good. Miss Burgess says, this is her favorite thing. I saw a giant spider walking into a grocery store. Who was walking into the grocery store? Yeah? But what was it meant to say?
While she was walking.
Yeah, I saw a giant spider, or while walking into the store, I saw a giant spider. How about covered in gooey chocolate, the waiter brought us dessert? Who was covered in gooey chocolate? Yeah, but what did I mean to say? Yeah, the waiter bought us dessert covered in gooey chocolate, something like that. Okay, one last example. We saw several monkeys wearing colorful hats. Was it the monkeys wearing colorful hats or us? Us, we know through logic it was probably... know the goals that you have. We want you to excel. You know the rewards we're doing for math. You know all of this. And I know you guys got this. And we are working towards completing those goals right now with what we do for the Milestone Review Academy, for Progress Learning, through the worksheets, through all of it. So I just wanted to check base before we get started with working towards those goals, to make sure if you guys have any questions, you know you can ask me throughout as you've been doing. But I just wanted to see what you all think. And look at your worksheet. So I have an example here. The student said I could show you it all. We have a milestone review packet, right? And what you did was you went through and you answered the questions and you have your scores. Well, now take the sheet I have you and you see where it says figurative language. I want you to write down your score. So if you got a 40, if you got an 80, if you got a 100, go ahead and write that down. All right. And then for tone and mood, you're going to write that down. Does everyone have that written down? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Perfect. Okay, now we are going to keep doing that for the rest of them. And then when you are done with that, you see how on the sheet it says if you have an 80 or above, you can cross it off. You don't have to do it. So go ahead and write down all the scores you got, and then you can cross it off. And then when we are done, we will start our remediation, our enrichment, our milestone review academy. Hello, thank you so much for watching my video and seeing all the fun things that I got to do throughout the year. I was in 7th grade English and I've really learned and grown so much. Some assignments that you saw throughout the video project that we did was a poetry project, a milestones review academy, which I will talk more about later when it comes to some of my strengths. And we also did a ton of modifier activities for my unit plan. So I had the students work on some worksheets, and they got to draw a comic for modifiers, do task cards, do a bunch of fun things. And then, of course, I brought in music and videos. With misplaced modifiers, you have to move it because the modifier's in the wrong spot. So I told the students that they have to move it, and I played that song. So it was great. I brought in donuts to help do a little map reward, and I had so much fun with my kids. I had fun decorating the classroom and thinking about how making seating charts and how I want my students to sit to maximize attention and also instruction. I was able to learn how to teach to a variety of learners. I was able to really plan lessons and how I would like units to go. And I was able to really grow in my classroom management. I now have a bell system, house points, and all of that. I also was able to do a lot of small groups and flexible grouping that way. And then we had a great team. I had weekly conferences with my mentor teacher and then also with our team in 7th grade. And then, of course, with Miss Allen and the administration team, and it was great to always be able to check in and bounce ideas off of each other. I also really enjoyed the opportunity to analyze student data, whether it was through the map or my pre-test or my post-test, and help see where we can help differentiate or remediate. Which brings me to some of my strengths. I was strong in Standard 3 and Standard 4, which both have to do with instructional delivery. I was really able to engage the students, and through my enthusiasm for learning, I was able to really get them excited about something, grammar, that most people do not like and do not get excited about. Additionally, I was able to do a lot of differentiation. For our Milestone Review Academy, we gave a pre-test over all the standards they did. And then we had activities and a way to reteach each one. That way every student was able to work on something different. And then we came together and we did a March Madness, Milestone Madness style activity and with all the students. And it was amazing and such a great experience. And I am also working on communication, which has to do, that's Standard 10, and I have apraxia, which is a speech disorder. I've had it my whole life, and I've been in speech therapy and really working with my students about enunciation and also pronouncing words correctly and really practicing what I am going to say beforehand, because communication is one of my weaknesses and I am constantly working to improve. In addition, I'm also working on how to plan and integrate technology more. I am the type of learner I am. I love to be able to write and physically have a packet.
So I want to be able, I tend to lean towards pen and paper, but I also know that integrating technology, especially with AI and all of that, is super important. So something that I worked on to get better at throughout placement was finding out what's out there. We did a poetry unit and I was able to find a virtual tour. It was really cool where using Google Maps, it could go through Poe's museum. Of course, I did some Kahoot. Turns out Kahoot has game modes and class islands. You guys probably knew about that. I had no idea. And the kids love doing different game modes. Of course, I also did physical review games, but getting the opportunity to learn about Jeopardy and all of that was amazing. And as I think about my future career, I want to continue to learn how to integrate technology. I am looking into getting a master's at Liberty University. And part of the master's program I want to do will teach me more about how to integrate technology, and it will also really dig into the differentiation piece. In addition, I will continue to script out my lessons and record myself so I could see, oh, here's where I wasn't as clear, here's where I need to slow down, ooh, my TH sounds aren't coming across quite how I want, so I can continue to practice with that. I also will continue to research and see new technology. It was very interesting. I'm looking into this currently. There's a ChatGPT system, which you have to be careful about with student data, but where you can use it to make a Google website to kind of do questions and multiple choice. So I will continue to look into new technology through asking other teachers and reading news articles. And in my future career, I plan to continue to get a master's and just get to know my students and how to mix pen and paper with technology, and also, importantly, to be clear in what I am communicating, to be enthusiastic, to keep that differentiation and remediation piece, but also to address all the standards, to be professional, to keep things confidential, to have a positive environment for my classroom, and ultimately to show Christ through my actions and how I love and teach and encourage my students to grow. And I will model constantly growing and constantly having a goal to work through. Thank you for watching my video. I have grown so much this year, and it has been a wild but fun ride.